Hello, how are you? Well, I'm in chill and warm mood. It's very rainy and cold, windy outside. I've been thinking to come back live and to share with you some thoughts, and I was not sure exactly
Mama,
about what.
Silly.
Ceiling, da, mai acuș. Nu acum, 2 minute să termin aici, da? And I had several topics in my mind as usual, but then it happened that I jumped into a kind of exchange of comments on a post. And it happened to be between a woman and a man who are both facilitating Kundalini activations. And I already did on my YouTube channel a short video about this and what I think about Kundalini activation, how they should be approached, if they are always necessary, or what consequences or risks can be, or challenges. And so while I was jumping and not arguing, because I didn't feel I want to argue, it was not even about the triggering. It was mostly reflections that I was to bring to each of them, of the sides, to make them understand that it's always good to go halfway and find a compromise instead of just projecting things on each other. And it's interesting to see this kind of situations, especially when it is about younger facilitators, because I facilitate myself many different things. I'm quite polyvalent in my activities, but as a trauma therapist, I always tend to see the behind the scenes and what are the hidden clues or dynamics of such an exchange or points of views. And these polemics also brought a lot of attention to the topic of sacred rage. So I'm not going to insist in speaking about what happened on that post or exchange of posts on Facebook, but I'm going to bring a different insight on the sacred rage. Because rage is the ultimate level of intensity and control, outbursting energy of anger. And while anger is an emotion that we all have, and it's one of our primary emotions, we are born to have it. And when we experience constriction or limitations or violation of our boundaries, even as a very small child, even as a baby, we all as human beings can have this resource of the anger. What is happening then that from anger, many people in their adult life, it doesn't matter the age, but more we live and more we suppress it or hide it, then we will tend to express it later. What happens with people that from healthy anger that has not been expressed or processed, they got to the level of rage, because rage is uncontrollable. Rage can bring you to an extreme. Rage can make you kill someone. It is not a joke. And I'm trying to say this so people can also make a self-inquiry and see how many times you actually didn't show up for your own anger, and that increased the risk for your rage to appear and to manifest. And then ultimately there are other risks associated with these manifestations. Because rage, it's not a joke, as I said, it can take someone's life. And we have nowadays in our society many situations of violence, domestic violence, of abuse, or even on other levels of the society, even in the political, where people became so outraged, so they are really extending this manifestation to extreme, that no other value, no other principle regarding life, boundaries, what is accepted or not, are valid anymore. And it's important that we don't fail to understand the difference between anger and rage, because the difference is also in how we process it. And if we understand it, then we have much more chances to process it to process it in a healthy way. And now I was speaking at the beginning about the concept of sacred rage, because that is something that can bring you a big opportunity to alchemize, to transform your rage if you are already in this level of anger. But as every opportunity, every good thing can also include risks, as I said, and can include illusions too about how we do it, who can do it safely, or who can help us to do it in a safe way. Because sacred rage, yes, we can say that it has to do with the goddess, for example, and many of us can speak about Kali from the Indian pantheon, which is the goddess with many hands that has all these daggers and cuts heads to the left and to the right when she's really, really pissed off. But that is just one aspect, and it's an archetypal aspect of the rage. And of course, being a goddess, we consider it a sacred manifestation. But if we relate the concept of sacred rage to our human condition, the sacred part of it stays, or it reveals itself in the moment when we are fully able to accept that we reach that fifth level of anger, and somehow it feels like there is no point of return. But if we keep our judgment and we listen to ourselves, we will find a way to alchemize it and to use it in a way that is not overwhelming. It doesn't put upside down our whole nervous system, and it will not affect negatively others. So the question is, how aware are you of the rage that you might carry inside? What do you want to do about it? And who is the right person to guide you? Because if you are not trauma informed, if you don't have some expertise or trainings regarding regulation, safe regulation, and even co-regulation of the nervous system, if you don't know the difference between an activated and a numb state in your body, if you are not fully connected with the source of this anger or rage, and you don't have any clue about all its stages and how it can develop and manifest, then you need to do some work, some homework. And there are plenty of resources for understanding it. You just go on Google and put rage and see what's coming up, and you find basic resources. Nevertheless, the sacredness doesn't come because somebody will write in the description of an event that you are invited to connect with your sacred rage and process it and release it and whatsoever. The sacredness comes from the degree of connection you have with yourself and with the state of rage. Because you might think that you are ready to process it, and you start to feel it, and you tap into it, and you understand there is something there worthy to work with. But this might be just an illusion or a story that your mind creates while your body is not ready. It actually can get very overwhelmed if you do something about it. And when I speak about sacredness as a connection between your body state, your awareness of the body, the mind, the psychic processes, and your emotions, because rage is the ultimate state of anger as healthy emotion. It's that part of it that can always go into a negative way of expression with many different and even serious consequences. So reflect on these words, and no matter how sacred or not you want to make your experience to release or connect with this rage, be mindful and do the homework. It doesn't have to be an exhaustive research on how I don't know how many research papers and going to all sorts of workshops and trainings. Sometimes you just need to be guided into your own subconscious and inside your body and to become aware. And then step by step, things start to be revealed. But don't claim that you want to connect or to express your sacred rage if you are not fully aware of a yes from your own body and mind. Because they have to work together in the process. If they are in disconnect, if you are spaced out, if you think that, oh, it's enough, I go to a workshop, I get an activation and now I'm blissful because I already released so much, then you might want to pay attention and to listen to a second opinion. It's not a joke, it's about your life, and you have to be careful. Because sometimes the sacred rage can play wonders for your life, but can also mess up your life to a high extent. And trust me, I know what I say. I've been there. I actually guided for several years ago. I was guiding some workshops, inviting women to connect with their own anger, and some of them were so outraged, really, really raged. And at that point, maybe I was not fully aware what was happening. And still, I saw many things happening. And that's why I wanted to bring you this reflection today. And it's valid for both men and women. But in women, it's tenfolded. And for men, if you have a partner or a colleague, and that person is a woman and brings a rage attitude or a rage energy to you, know that you will need to be supported energetically by at least 10 generations of male persons in your lineage to just stand in front of a woman rage, the sacred rage. Not a joke at all. I can support you to find more about this and even understand your own rage if you feel that they are tapping into it. Just connect with me. I have experience, I have knowledge, and above all, I have tools and time. See you next. Enjoy the rest of the evening.